Hello and welcome to Business English with the world's best business books. In today's lesson, we'll look at key concepts from the book Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim and Renée Mauborgne. The book explains how companies can move away from intense competition and develop innovative strategies to create new opportunities. At the same time, we'll learn and practice essential business English vocabulary to talk about strategy, innovation, and market positioning. Before we continue, please pause the video and read the following disclaimer. In this course, I provide summaries of important ideas and key business terms from well-known business books. These are designed to support your learning of business English. All original content belongs to the authors. If you would like a deeper understanding of the concepts, I encourage you to read the full book. Now, let's get started with today's lesson. Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim and Renée Mauborgne is a book about how companies can create new market opportunities instead of fighting with competitors in existing markets. It introduces a revolutionary approach to business strategy. Instead of competing in crowded red ocean markets, companies can create blue oceans. Let me briefly tell you the meanings of those two terms. Blue oceans are new uncontested market spaces where competition is irrelevant because new demand is created. And red oceans are saturated markets with intense competition for the same customers. The key is not to outperform rivals but to make them irrelevant by delivering exceptional value in innovative ways. This is the so-called value innovation. This strategy emphasizes both differentiation and cost efficiency, leading to growth opportunities that reshape industries. Next, I will tell you a few words about the different tools and concepts that the authors present in the book. To implement a blue ocean strategy, the authors introduce several practical tools such as the strategy canvas, the 4 actions framework, the eliminate, reduce, raise, create grid, the value curve, and the 6 paths framework. They also present key concepts including fair process and tipping point leadership, which are important for implementing and managing strategy effectively. Next, I will briefly explain each of these tools and concepts. Let's start with the strategy canvas. This is a visual tool that shows how a company's strategic factors compare to competitors on a single graph. The 4 actions framework is a practical tool to help companies think differently about what they offer. It asks 4 questions. What should we eliminate that the industry takes for granted? What should we reduce below the industry standard? What should we raise above the industry standard? What should we create that the industry has never offered? By answering these questions, companies can find new ways to deliver value. Thus, we reach the eliminate, reduce, raise, create grid, which is a matrix used to apply the 4 actions framework systematically. Then comes the value curve, which is a graphical representation showing a company's performance across key competitive factors. And the 6 paths framework. This is a method for reconstructing market boundaries by looking across alternative industries, across strategic groups within an industry, buyer groups, complementary products and services, functional or emotional appeal, and across time. Now let's take a look at the fair process concept. To make a new strategy work, people inside the company must understand and support it. Fair process means being transparent, explaining decisions, and involving employees in the change. When people feel respected, they help implement new ideas. And tipping point leadership. This idea says that leaders can achieve big changes even with limited resources if they focus on actions that have the greatest impact. Now let me give you a few examples of blue oceans. The first one is Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil changed the traditional circus by combining theater, dance, and live music with circus performance. Why it's a blue ocean? They eliminated expensive star performance and animal acts. They raised the level of artistic performance and storytelling. They created a new kind of experience for adults who wanted culture, not just fun for children. All this created a new market between theater and circus, with no direct competition. Another example is Apple iTunes in the music distribution industry. What they did? Apple created the iTunes platform to let people buy single songs legally and easily online. Why it's a blue ocean? They eliminated the need for entire album purchases. They raised convenience and digital access. They created a legal, user-friendly way to get music anytime. In this way, they captured new demand from people who previously downloaded music illegally or didn't buy it at all. Another example is Yellowtail in the wine industry. The company Casella Wines, which is an Australian company, launched Yellowtail to simplify wine for people who didn't usually drink it. Why it's a blue ocean? They eliminated complex wine jargon and the focus on aging and region. They reduced the variety of wines to just a few simple choices. They raised fun, color, and accessibility in marketing. They created a new wine that was easy to drink and understand. Thus, they attracted beer and cocktail drinkers, new customers for the wine industry. Okay, so now before we continue with the business terms, with the vocabulary and the exercises, I would like to give you a few takeaways from the Blue Ocean strategy. The authors explain that success in business does not always mean fighting for a bigger share of the same market. Instead, companies can grow by creating their own blue oceans, places where they set the rules and lead with innovation. So Blue Ocean strategy teaches companies to think creatively, focus on value, and look for opportunities where others see limits. So now we can continue with the business vocabulary that I've selected from the book. There are many useful business terms in Blue Ocean strategy, so I've divided them into several categories: market and customer concepts, organizational and execution terms, analytical and financial terms, innovation and change language, and in the end I've added some general useful collocations and phrases. We'll go through each category separately. For each term, I'll give you an explanation and an example of how it's used. After each category, we'll do a short practice exercise. Once we've covered all the vocabulary for today's lesson, we'll finish with a few more exercises to review everything. So let's first start with the market and customer concepts. The ones that I've selected for you from the book are the following: uncontested market space, non-customers, buyer utility, working capital, adoption hurdles, demand creation, value proposition, and competitive saturation. So let's look at them one by one. Uncontested market space: a market where a company faces no direct competition. Cirque du Soleil created an uncontested market space by blending theater and circus, attracting audiences who didn't normally attend circuses. Non-customers: people who currently do not buy or use the products in an industry. The company discovered that many non-customers were interested in easy-to-use streaming services but had never rented DVDs or gone to cinemas regularly. Buyer utility: the usefulness or benefits a customer gets from a product or service. Netflix focused on buyer utility by making movies convenient to watch at home, anytime, and on multiple devices. Working capital: the funds available for day-to-day operations. Current assets minus current liabilities. The startup carefully monitored its working capital to ensure it could pay suppliers and cover operational costs during its first year. Adoption hurdles: barriers that prevent customers or stakeholders from accepting a new product or idea. The new electric car faced adoption hurdles because customers were hesitant to switch from traditional gasoline vehicles. Demand creation: activities focused on generating interest and need for a new product or service. Netflix created demand by offering on-demand streaming, attracting viewers who previously watched very little television. Value proposition: the combination of benefits a company promises to deliver to customers. Apple's value proposition combined sleek design, easy-to-use interface, and premium functionality to attract a wide customer base. Competitive saturation. The state of a market where competition is intense and opportunity is scarce. The smartphone market shows signs of competitive saturation, making it hard for new brands to differentiate themselves. Okay, so now we can do an exercise which is of the fill in the gaps type. Please take your time to read the sentences and select the correct words, the correct business terms. Please mind you that in the first and the fourth examples, you have to select 2 terms. Okay, so please pause the video and press play when you're ready to hear the answers. So now I will give you the answers to those sentences. A new startup wants to launch a unique fitness app. Instead of competing with existing apps, they aim to create an uncontested market space, targeting people who have never used any digital fitness solutions. And here we have to place non-customers. That is, the people who have never used any digital fitness solutions are called non-customers. Second, to make the app appealing, the team focuses on buyer utility, ensuring it is simple, fun, and effective for users. Third, the company must carefully manage its working capital to cover development costs and early operations. Fourth, they also need to identify potential adoption hurdles, such as users being reluctant to try new technology, and plan marketing campaigns to encourage adoption. Here we have to select demand creation. Fifth, by clearly defining their value proposition, the team shows how their app is different and why users should choose it over other options. And the sixth example, finally, they consider whether the market is already crowded, this is competitive saturation, to understand if their offering truly stands out. Okay, and here you can see all the answers, so you can compare with yours. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll be happy to see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.